I'm Steve Wiggins, and this is the Groundworks Ministries podcast. Today we're reading from the book of Judges, chapter 8. Let's focus on verses 26 through 28. Now the weight of the gold earrings that Gideon requested was 1,700 shekels of gold, besides the crescent ornaments, pendants, and purple robes which were on the kings of Midian, and besides the chains that were around the camels' necks. And then Gideon made it into an ephod, and he set it up in his city, Ophrah. And all of Israel played the harlot with it there. It became a snare to Gideon and to his house. Thus Midian was subdued by the children of Israel, so that they lifted up their heads no more. And the country was quiet for 40 years in the days of Gideon. All of my adult life, I've been in the music business. And while I no longer earn the bulk of my living as a touring musician, hardly any of it at all, frankly, there was a time when in my mid-20s, my band Big Tent Revival was very successful. You can go to Spotify, check us out, Big Tent Revival. And every time we had a number one radio song, and we had a few, the record company would give me a plaque commemorating the success. And every time that I was nominated for a Grammy Award, and I was nominated for 5, well, then I got another plaque. And pretty soon, the entire front room of my home was devoted to my success in the music business. But eventually, it became a source of pride and distraction, even in my own home. It was as if my success and the display thereof had become an idol. And how so? Well, because it put too much focus on my past, and to the point where it kept me from making faith steps into the future, for fear of jeopardizing my coveted legend, as it were. So Gideon, the former coward turned military hero, had an idea. He didn't want to set up a political dynasty, but he definitely wanted to be remembered as a big deal. And so he made a monument to his military conquests, a golden ephod made of the spoils of a military campaign that he led. Whose gold did he take? It was the Ishmaelites' gold. Consider this from Judges chapter 8, verse 24. And then he said to them, "Let me make a request of you. Everyone give me an earring from his plunder." And now because the enemy had gold earrings, because they were Ishmaelites. Remember who the Ishmaelites were? Remember Ishmael? Abraham's son with Hagar and Sarah's Egyptian slave? If you don't remember, check this out from Genesis chapter 16, verse 11 and 12. And the angel of the Lord said to Hagar, that was Sarah's concubine, Sarah's maidservant, "You have conceived and will have a son, and you will name him Ishmael. For the Lord has heard the cry of your affliction. This man will be like a wild donkey, and his hand will be against everyone, and everyone's hand will be against him, and he will live at odds with all of his brothers." So once Gideon's golden ephod, which was to be worn by a priest, by the way, ephods were for the priests, to signify that they were priests. Well, once his golden ephod was installed on permanent display at the museum of his hometown, well, then the people of Israel saw it as a good luck charm. And it became an idol of past victories that they could worship, as opposed to trusting in God for future victories. You know, eventually I took most of those music business plaques down off of the walls of my home. Some of them went to storage, others of them made it to my office. And it's not that being successful is a sin or even displays of success. It just can't dominate your life. And we tend to worship the success that the Lord brings instead of worshiping God, who has brought us success despite our limitations. I'm Steve Wiggins, and this is the Groundworks Ministries podcast. You know, Groundworks Ministries exists because of faithful donations of people like you. So if you're being blessed by the ministry of Groundworks Ministries, would you consider investing in the future of other people so that we can expand our reach in order to lead people not only to the gospel, but also to God's word every day? Check us out at groundworksministries.com.